Eyes open. Clock says 6:58. Your alarm rings at 7. You didn't move. You didn't dream. Your body just knew. 10 reasons it does this every morning. Most people get the answer completely backwards. 1. The internal clock. Right now, without checking a clock, guess what time it is? Just commit to a number. You'll probably be within 15 minutes, maybe closer. That isn't intuition. That isn't a feeling. Deep inside your brain, a tiny cluster of about 20,000 neurons keeps time 24 hours a day, every day of your life. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN, and its only job is to know what time it is. This clock runs even if you lock someone in a cave with no sunlight, no watches, no contact with the outside world. Researchers have done it. The cycle keeps spinning, drifting only slightly, about 24.18 hours when fully isolated. Your body knows the time of day with more precision than your phone, and you never feel it doing it. So you never had to ask your body what time it was. It already knew. And right now, while you read this, that same clock is firing in the background. And it's about to do something stranger. 2. The cortisol pulse. Imagine yourself 30 minutes from now. You're asleep. Your alarm is set for 31 minutes from now. Something has already begun. A hormone called cortisol, the one everyone associates with stress, actually has a second, quieter job. It wakes you up. Roughly 30 to 45 minutes before your usual wake time, your adrenal glands start releasing cortisol in a slow rising wave. It peaks right when your eyes are supposed to open. This pulse is so reliable that researchers call it the cortisol awakening response, or CAR, and they can measure it in saliva samples. By the time your alarm goes off, that wave has already crested. Your body has been physically preparing to wake for half an hour. The alarm didn't wake you. It just confirmed what was already happening. And here's the strangest part. Your body adjusts that pulse based on what time you're expecting to wake. 3. The 1999 experiment. This is the part most people find unbelievable. In 1999, German researchers at the University of Lübeck, led by Jan Born, ran an experiment that still shapes sleep science today. They put 15 volunteers in a sleep lab for 3 nights. On some nights, they told the volunteers they'd be woken at 6 a.m. On other nights, 9 a.m. The volunteers had no clocks, no way to check. They just had the time told to them before sleep. Then the researchers measured the cortisol pulse. On the 6 a.m. nights, the cortisol started rising around 4:30 a.m., right on schedule. On the 9 a.m. nights, the same people had cortisol staying flat at 4:30, then starting to rise around 7:30. Same people, same beds, different expected wake times. Their bodies adjusted the pulse. So when you set your alarm for 7 a.m., you don't just remember the number, your body files it. Now, here's something you can verify on yourself in 5 seconds. 4. Quick test. Whatever time you set your alarm tomorrow, take that time and count backward in 90-minute increments. 6 a.m. minus 90 minutes is 4:30, minus another 90 is 3 o'clock, minus another is 1:30. Keep going until you reach the time you'd actually fall asleep. If those numbers land within 15 or 20 minutes of when you usually drift off, that's not a coincidence. You're sleeping in roughly 5 clean 90-minute cycles, and your body is timing its lighter sleep stages to be at the end of each cycle. The cycle right before your alarm puts you in the lightest part of your sleep. Easy to wake from, easy to remember. So when you wake right before the alarm, your body just finished a cycle. The alarm didn't catch you mid-cycle. You exited at the end, and there's another timer running on top of all of this. 5. The anticipation effect. Notice something about the days it happens most. It's almost never random. It's the morning of a flight you can't miss. The morning of a job interview, the first day of a new project. Suddenly, your body wakes you up earlier than it ever does on a normal Tuesday. That's not your imagination. Researchers have measured this too. When you have something important coming, your brain primes the wake system more aggressively. The cortisol pulse runs slightly stronger. The clock fires slightly earlier. You're up before the alarm, because your brain decided one missed alarm could be a disaster. It's not anxiety. It's prioritization running in the background while you sleep. But there's another signal helping your brain, and it's coming through your closed eyelids. 6. Light through your eyelids. Your eyelids aren't blackout curtains. They block most of the visible light, but they let through about 5 to 10% of certain wavelengths, especially the blue light of dawn. About 1% of the cells in your retina aren't designed to see. They're called melanopsin cells, and their only job is to detect ambient light and send that signal directly to the SCN clock from item 1. They don't form images, they just count photons. When the sky starts to lighten before sunrise, these cells fire, the SCN gets the message, and your body's wake system starts ramping up. Even though your eyes are closed and you're still dreaming, you weren't sleeping in the dark. Your brain was watching the sky, and there's something this clock does that almost feels supernatural until you understand it. 7. The consistency lock. Think of the last week you slept at roughly the same hour every night, maybe a work week, maybe a vacation routine. Notice what happened around day 4. On day 1, you needed the alarm. On day 2, maybe. By day 4, almost without fail, your eyes opened a few minutes before it rang. You didn't try harder. You didn't sleep differently. Your body just locked in. That lock is real, and it has a name in sleep science. If you wake at the same time every day for 2 or 3 weeks straight, your SCN locks the cortisol pulse to that exact slot. The clock becomes so precise that you may wake within 5 minutes of your alarm, even before you set it. If you live with chaotic hours, late nights one day, early mornings the next, the lock never forms. Your body never knows what time to start the engine. So pre-alarm waking isn't a gift some people are born with. It's a setting your routine writes into your brain, one repeated day at a time, which is exactly why one specific situation breaks the system completely. 8. Why weekends break it. You wake right before your alarm on Tuesday. On Saturday, you sleep until 11 and feel groggy and disconnected. Researchers have a name for the gap between your weekday sleep schedule and your weekend one. They call it social jet lag. The mechanism is simple. Your SCN doesn't care that it's Saturday. It built a 7 a.m. lock based on 5 straight days of consistency. When you sleep until 11, you're forcing your body into a different time zone. Same city, same bed, but biologically, you just flew 3 time zones west. By Monday morning, your clock is still slightly out of sync, and the pre-alarm wake doesn't fire as cleanly. Your weekend wasn't lazy. It rewrote your clock, and your clock punishes you for it on Monday. And here's what your future self with this system will look like. 9. Your future self. If you want to know what your wake-ups will look like in 30 years, visit any retirement home before sunrise. The lights are already on. The kitchens are already moving. People are already up, many of them without alarms at all. This isn't restlessness. As people age, the circadian rhythm naturally shifts earlier. The SCN becomes more rigid. Sleep cycles get slightly shorter, and the lightest stages move earlier in the night. By the time the morning approaches, an older person is already cycling through near-wake states, often opening their eyes a full 30 minutes before the alarm was set. It looks like waking too early from the outside. From the inside, it's just a clock that locked tighter over decades of practice. The strange truth, every consistent year of your life is making this system more accurate. Last one, and it's the version of this you can train into a superpower. 10. The mental alarm. Why some people don't need one at all. There's a known story in military training. A Navy SEAL closes his eyes at 11:47 p.m. and tells himself he needs to be up at 4 a.m. exactly. He has no alarm. He has no phone next to him. At 3:59 a.m., his eyes open. This isn't a superpower. It's all 9 of the previous items stacked on top of each other in someone who has lived the same schedule for years. The SCN locked early, the cortisol pulse times perfectly, the 90-minute cycles align with sleep onset, the brain prioritizes the wake, the eyelid sensors pick up dawn light. The consistency is decades deep. Add it together and the alarm becomes redundant. Mental alarms aren't supernatural. They're routine machinery, polished by years of repetition. Here's the principle that ties all 10 together. Your body wasn't waking up to your alarm. It was waking up to a count it started the night before. The alarm just happens to be there when the count ends. 2 clocks, 1 timing system, 1 cortisol pulse, 1 anticipation signal, 1 trained schedule, 1 ancient brain, all working together to make sure you're up before the noise begins. The real surprise isn't that you wake before your alarm. It's that anyone needs an alarm at all. Go back to the start. Eyes open. Clock says 6:58. Alarm set for 7 o'clock. You didn't move. You didn't dream. Your body just knew. Now you know how. Your superchiasmatic clock had been counting since dusk. Your cortisol had been climbing for half an hour. Your eyelids had been watching the light. Your brain had been priming itself for that exact moment in silence while you slept. You weren't beating the alarm. You were arriving at the appointment your brain made for you the night before. You never beat your alarm. Your body never needed it. It was always going to wake you anyway.